Hi, the TAKful Creator here, and we're back. May God the Creator bless us. May God the Redeemer heal us. May God the Holy Spirit enlighten us. Give us eyes to see, ears to hear, and hands to do the work of God. Feet to walk the path of justice, sheesh, mouths to preach the good news. May the angel of peace, prosperity, love, abundance, guidance, grace, mercy, and care watch over us and lead us to the reign of God. Ashe. Oh, some kind of mental entrapment here in the front side or backyard. Straight hair that is thick, or straight hair that's turning thick, but there's going to be some kind of luck on whatever ungrounding nature because of some spineless energy. But remember, there was another reading that has some kind of shimmer and glimmer. I'll add that to this part of the reading, or to the end of this reading, but just know that justice will be served on that. So I think that is just a confirmation. Hi, Divine. Hi. Can you show me no? Thank you. Can you show me yes? Thank you. That we're on the right track. And we may need a double back. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Okay, so then when we're talking about all these cards, this is just an update on that previous reading, right? Okay, so I'll add that to the end of this. I think that's what these update cards are. So like when I'm giving the prayer, I think that's going to be to wrap up other readings, to kind of let you know what was going on. Has it been worked on? Is it not worked on? Are we still in it? So on and so forth. Okay. And then when I continue the reading by shuffling the cards is when we truly dive into the reading. Okay. So that's kind of cool, right? Just know justice is served for whatever mental entrapment that was issued out to the mind, body, and spirit of a chosen energy. Okay. And just know this chosen energy is most likely chocolate or African American, depending on what you like to go by. It was a divine fated occurrence for this side, front, or backyard energy with this bigot or racist that may have seemed untrustworthy, but some evidence was needed to really see if they were truly untrustworthy, or was this a lesson across the board for everyone. Okay, so someone, when the white is in reverse, we talk about throwing in a white flag, or maybe not throwing in a white flag, but we have the confirmation over here with this receiving praise from the 5D that the white flag was thrown in at the appropriate time, and the fantasy and dreams are able to truly commence the way the divine automatically predestined for the two energies that reading is about. So I will do my absolute best to add that to this part of the video so that you can just easily click on, if you want to watch the end of this video, that's awesome too, because you're going to get an additional message. But if you want to click onto that other reading, it's a solo mission that divinely was collaborated with you. So, I'll give you the option. Okay. So let's dive into this new energy. Okay. What do we need to know? So far, justice is being served, right? Oh, well, then we hear about this kind of hearing in court energy. So we know with the previous reading and the confirmation that justice was served there, that what we unfold in this reading, justice will also be served, okay? Because there's some kind of hearing in court with a Capricorn in reverse energy. I'm sensing more that this is not the top 3 signs. Okay, so this energy could be a Capricorn, but I'm not really sensing that the sun sign, the moon sign, or the rising sign is Cap, or the hyperactive sign. Okay, a generational sign. Okay, so like a Pluto or a Jupiter or a Saturn, where it rules over a generation opposed to ruling over your specific vessel based on time and day. It's really based on like year. Okay, so that's what I'm getting more by this Capricorn energy. Okay, so there's some kind of I don't want to say judgment or a hearing in court for an overall generation, but it's kind of like there's going to be restructuring of generation that has Capricorn and Jupiter, Saturn, or Pluto. Okay, and that's because of this reverse Aquarius that is not really mixing well with this Capricorn energy. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, well, first we have some battle cruel jokes that's being offered. So when you have a Capricorn, you usually have someone who's super meta. They feel like they know it all, but in a way that is mysterious. Okay, they kind of tell you that they know it all based on structure, based on evidence, but they're not really the know-it-all type. Virgos are more the know-it-all type, where they want the esteem for knowing it all. Capricorns don't really want the negative feelings of being a know-it-all. They just want the praise for it. Okay, but when you have this Aquarius where that they don't really require much evidence, okay? Yes, evidence is necessary, maybe 1 or 2 facts, but they don't need excessive facts, okay? Because they don't really want to change their opinion, they want to support their opinion. So when you have this, I want to support my opinion energy, right? Even if it's negative, mixed with this Capricorn of, you know, my opinion is generally right, I don't want backlash, you're not able to accept feedback. So then you constantly have to have a general hearing in court. You constantly have to go to like maybe spiritual jail or have a spiritual lesson or a tower moment or whatever the case is, because you're too much in a stubborn energy that we would normally attach to a Taurus without doing the work to find the evidence. You want the evidence to just be available, be in your mind, because you can just use your intuitive upgrades, your crown chakra, to just know the information. Or you want the information to be at your fingertips. You only gravitated to something because of XYZ, so it must be in line with whatever. It's like a whole bunch of generalizations here, where Taurus would give you specific fact, and they'll show you the process of how they went about finding that information, okay? But this is all about some bad or cruel jokes, okay? Maybe with a seasoned man that's over 40 who's a parroter. So they take on information, or they take information in from people around them, and they only tell it to others when it sounds good, or they can get a laugh, or they can be esteemed in some way. You know, when they can be the center of attention, that's usually when they offer this information. Now, they do this with their headlights on, if that makes sense. So when we talk about headlights, we're talking about a very narrow light. Oftentimes you only use headlights when your visibility is impaired, okay? So if we're talking about energy that you would have maybe on Christmas Eve, you would kind of be impaired spiritually. Why? Because this is the time where, you know, you tell the kids, were you good? Were you good all year? Well, here is your reward for being good all year. Okay? Now with those kids, their attention span is not 100%. You're not keeping detailed notes throughout the year of whether or not they were good or bad. Like, you assume that using the Santa idea of someone else is taking note and someone else will issue the gifts or whatever the case is, you're taking the responsibility off of the parents who are supposed to be cultivating this good behavior, cultivating the responsibility for people to engender good behavior regardless if they receive praise for it or not, i.e. the Capricorn, regardless if they have to change their mind or not, because Aquariuses hate to change their mind, right? So it's all about, what are you cooking in the kitchen? What are you offering as nourishment? Are you guiding? Are you cultivating? Are you creating? Are you nourishing? Or are you allowing the external to fill information and you kind of swatting, this is not good, this is not good, this is not good? Because taking that latter approach can offer a lot more miscommunication and misconception that could lead to bad behavior, removing yourself from the collective, removing yourself from positivity, putting yourself in a hearing, whether it be physical within the 3D or spiritual, okay? And in my opinion, spiritual is worse, because if you're in spiritual court, oftentimes it's going to trickle down to the physical being in court, whether that be because you're going to jail for something bad, or you're going to court to handle, and this is going to be a new experience for you, if you're going to court and handling, and this is a realization, like, this is all about recycling bad experiences, you know, understanding that being a super simp is giving the divine praise, okay? Again, spiritual praise is not for the world to give you praise. Okay, super simp for the world, not the world being a super simp for you. And that's the reason why we have this Capricorn in reverse. You want the world to be a super simp for you, but that's not necessarily, everything is internal, and it pushes outward. Okay, and if spiritual is internal first, right, and it pushes outward, the spiritual manifests in the 3D, It's the same way as your internal life, your internal world manifesting in the physical world to you, okay? So there is an alert about some candle magic that is being thrown, but just know that you're protected from it if you follow the high vibrational light of being in your prince or princess-like energy, okay? Because whatever was being cooked up in this kitchen, because we just saw the energy of it. And what do we mean by the energy is what you're focusing on. What path are you taking? What are you putting together? What is the thought process, the idea? What are the experiences that are giving you the notion to even cook up something in the kitchen, right? And now we're seeing the meal that's being prepped. Okay, we're seeing that the execution. Okay, are you properly showing these ideals? If cooking up something in the kitchen was, I want my children to be responsible. Well, do you know the true definition of responsibility? And can you articulate that to a child? Okay, can you show a child responsibility? Okay, how are you doing it in a consistent way so this child believes that responsibility is consistent as every day, they don't get a break? Okay, well, how do you also teach them the balance of that if they're not able to get a break with responsibility? You can teach them the good and bad in that. Are you doing the necessary work? Is what you're cooking up in the kitchen actually manifesting, right? Actually being given the meal that you're prepping, right? From the recipe book. Is it the meal that you're giving to the people eating? That is very important here, okay? Because it's not. That's the whole reason why we're having a hearing in court. Okay, the intention is not bad. We're not talking about intention here. Your intention is good. The effort behind it, the manipulation of your actions. Okay, and what do I say? What do I mean by when I say manipulation of your actions? Meaning, I know when I put one foot forward, it is to push me forward. But it's kind of like if I'm kicking my foot forward, right? I know that I want to, take a step. That's the intention. I'm moving forward. But I know in me moving forward, there's going to be a point where I'm no longer focused on the right foot. I'll be then focused on the left foot to move that forward. And in the process of me focusing on one and then focusing on the other and trying to be, as balanced as I possibly can there will be some kind of kickback, right? You kick up dirt. Maybe you'll step on something where you might slide around a little bit. Okay, maybe there's not enough traction with whatever shoes you're wearing or the bottom of your feet. Okay, or maybe there's other issues or elements that are surrounding that, but you still have to focus on getting one foot in front of the other. There's all of this that you got to focus on when you know the intention is just for you to move forward. It's a good intention. But if you don't focus on the traction of the shoes and you don't focus on the slippery thing in front of you, you don't focus on the joint pain, and you don't focus on all these other things that are hindering you from kicking your feet forward easily, you're not going to get to your intended target as quick as you possibly can. Okay? So that's what the hearing in court is. You're dragging your feet. You're dragging your feet here, okay? They say trust the timing though, but you're dragging your feet. Okay, so maybe there's a point where you're like, oh, is this the time? Oh, no, I'm not sure. Let me get another sign. Oh, is this the timing? Oh, I'm not sure. Let me get another sign. If you see a sign, that first sign, I'm telling you, you missed like 3 or 4 signs before that first sign. So the second you see the sign is when you trust the timing. Okay? For example, when you're walking down the street and you smell rain, that is your first sign that it's going to rain. I'm sure you didn't notice the wind patterns change. I'm sure you didn't notice maybe the animals fleeing from one area to the next. I'm sure you didn't notice the temperature of the ground changing. I'm sure you didn't notice, the newscasters and all this other stuff. But in the moment where you were walking down the street and you smelled rain, you realized that was your sign to protect yourself from the rain, or that was your sign to get to a protective area so that the rain doesn't hinder your progression wherever you are for whatever you're doing. Okay, that's what I mean by trust the timing. But when you see the sign, act and move. That's how you trust the timing. Okay, you don't need 5 million signs to know whether or not to do the right thing. You don't need it to repeat in your head 10 times for you to know when something has to happen. Okay? So, and then We talked about how this Capricorn in reverse with this Aquarius in reverse could potentially be similar to like a Taurus in reverse without the evidence. Now how do we have a Taurus over here, right? Not in the upright, not in the reverse here, but kind of teeter-tottering through because of selectively seeing the signs and synchronicities. Okay? So maybe we all have to get back to grounding. Maybe we all have to get back to becoming one with ourselves so that there aren't mixed messages. Okay? Because this hearing in court could be because the signs and synchronicities that you are seeing are not in line with the message that the divine is offering you because you haven't fully healed from a few things. Okay? That's where the selectiveness comes. Oh, you're like, oh, well, this is easy. I'm going to go toward that. Why? Because there's other things a little bit more difficult that healing would help with, but you haven't gone through the healing yet. So you're going to move to the area where it requires less action so that you can, in your mind, progress faster. When in actuality, you take that moment for healing, you don't realize how that healing is jump-starting a whole nother section of progression that bypasses this one little aspect over here, okay? Because even though we talk about paths and progress, they're not always linear. Okay, we talked about cyclical patterns in other videos. We talk about how you are on one path and you jump onto another path, and you jump onto another path, and you jump onto another path, and that's how you form your best alliance or your best alignment. If you are unsure your highest purpose and you're knee deep in your spiritual development, well, that's what you're meant to do, jump on paths. And again, like a DNA strand is not always linear. Okay, so there's this turquoise energy, which is telling us that regardless of what the court says in this regard, healing is taking place. It's just not being focused on in a way that is the highest priority. Okay, and because of this spiritual hearing, it's going to trickle down into a physical hearing that is going to require some kind of expense being paid off due to a criminal or crime that involved some self-defense or karate with a genius. Okay, with someone who is probably a linguist, has the ability to express their case in a way that offers the self-defense plea, in a very easy, casual way, but maybe it's not necessarily right. It's not self-defense on their part. You get what I'm saying? But because they're so good with words, they're manipulating in a negative way, and that's where the spiritual court is like, no. Put the kids to sleep, okay? Because it's now or never. You about to go and exercise, because you see all the sports here, but I'm getting like outdoor. You about to go out and approach somebody or be approached on an early Tuesday, okay? Have some bold energy that's kind of aggressive, forthright. It feels like it's moral, but in actuality it's egotistical, and it has absolutely nothing to do with bringing things together. It has everything to do with tearing things apart and removing the healing process or causing additional healing to take place, okay? So that's the reason why this hearing in court is the focal point of the entire reading, because this energy, this Capricorn Aquarius energy that is teetering this Taurus, not in the upright energy, right? They're just playing like all these other energy. There's no sense of self here, even though we have self-defense. How can you defend yourself when there's no sense of self? So that's the reason why their plea is so easy, because they're not really defending themselves. They're defending some kind of imaginative fabrication. So like they're telling a story, and someone's going to approach them, or they're going to approach somebody on an early Tuesday, and it's going to require some physical exercise, but that physical exercise is going to result in a crime, and it's going to be expensive for this Virgo in reverse energy, and that is the perfectionist not being so much of a perfectionist, kind of letting go of the hat while still succeeding in the accomplishment they were set out to do. It's just they're not doing it in a pompous way, if that makes sense. Okay, and this is to attract some kind of divine unrest, but in actuality, this divine unrest is only here because this is a chosen energy that the attack is falling on. Okay, this hard fall that the Savior is protecting this chosen energy from, to create some kind of divine unrest. And so for all the parties, specifically this Capricorn Aquarius energy here, it's a great time to cease and desist. It's a great time to let it go. Yeah, see the signs and synchronicities. It's a predictable cycle. You know, you're going to get arrested. Point blank period. You're going to get arrested no matter what you say. You're going to get arrested. Cut it out. All right? Arrested development. Yeah, that's what you're going to be, just arrested. Like, you need to cut it out for real, for real. All right, so see the music messages. Just know this forthright nature, or this, maybe when I see gray, I'm also seeing like scheduling. Okay, so like a schedule to an office, dentist office visit, some kind of outdated love antics or whatever the case is. Just listen to the music messages. It's probably this misdemeanor offense. Because I see sex here. This misdemeanor offense is most likely because of some kind of tenuous sexual connection someone has with a gamer that maybe needs to go to a dentist's office, because, you know, this card could have just fell out wrong. But it fell out wrong because, you know, there's some kind of outdated energy that's falling out of love. Maybe they should have fell out of love sooner, and that's why this gray is in reverse, because they didn't really get the signs and synchronicities that we keep seeing unfold. And that's the reason why we don't really have any signs moving in their highest light, being symbolized as sitting in an upright form. Okay, so just know by this chosen energy, by following that narrow light, that narrow guiding light, that high vibrational beings, like the archangels or your spirit guides or your ancestors, all alike, the divine, him or herself, like assisting you here, you following that narrow light, it might offer you some kind of pissiness, and you might have to kind of tear it out. You're gonna have maybe a mourning period. And what do I mean by that? Like, sometimes, like, people wake up out of their sleep, and because their dreams were so chaotic, like they're doing spiritual work in their dreams, it's not necessarily like what is it, a nightmare. It's more so like a chaotic dream where you've learned lessons and stuff like that. It's just like going on a roller coaster. You're not scared of the roller coaster, you go on it for the thrill. It's kind of like what your dreams are going to be at. That's what I'm getting here. You may wake up emotional or kind of pissy because you're purging the emotions your spiritual self had in the dream. So even after you get off the roller coaster, you still have to like calm down, and all that anxiety can cause you to tear up and can cause you to throw up and all this other stuff, even though you kind of enjoyed the experience. The experience was meant to do what it intended. You get what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm getting this, okay? And that's because at the end of the day, this long-lasting true crime of this person who's trying to steal physical things and steal theoretical things, so physical things, material, finances, personal belongings, and then you have happiness, joy, a peace of mind, other things like that, right? This person is just being a thief, overall thief. They might be a chain smoker, or they might like to flex like they're a smoker. You get what I'm saying? So in essence, they are, I don't want to say like, they're you know how like when people walk down the street and they have like a cigarette in their mouth and they kind of look cool or whatever, it's like a facade. Like they have this chain smoker facade because they think it's a big flex, even though they may not truly like the act or truly participate. Again, it's a guise, right? Because they want to have some kind of evidence that the Taurus will bring up here, some kind of evidence, the facade that they have, or the version of authenticity that they have, which in reverse is not. It's just the mask that they're wearing. So I don't know, is there anything else we need to know here except awareness that this energy is having some kind of light magic being thrown at it, because they're in a fried noodle with their evidence. They really need a teacher to come in and assist them here. They kind of are acting like I don't want to so what I'm getting by an anime fan, I'm gauging more like that person in class that just randomly does the hand movements and runs and kicks in the air when they run, like their hands are behind their back like that, or whatever the case is. Like they're kind of like that weird kid in school. But I'm not saying anything negative about anime fans. I'm just getting the stereotype that's attached to this. Okay, so this energy is kind of weird. They're weird. They are selectively weird. Okay, they haven't really been taught the proper way to do certain things, so they rely on kind of being chipper and romantically sabotaging people, or romantically sabotaging themselves, because, and you gotta gain understanding, because they need some kind of internal healing that has stemmed from maybe how they were treated as a very young child. That's where we get in this baby blue, this healing phase that we need here. But I don't want to tap into this energy anymore. You know, they act confident. That's what I'm getting by this pink. They act super confident, but in actuality, they're diseased. They're ill. Like, there's something not right there. There's something that's not really meshing. And they may be a seasoned man that's over 40, or they're looking for a beneficial partnership. Yeah, they're looking for a beneficial partnership with a seasoned man that's over 40. Someone who probably has a lot of money that can shop for them. Like, they're really being a fried noodle here, right? Do not engage with this energy. You know, in essence, you're kind of shielded from this parasitical energy. I think maybe this is the energy they're throwing at a chosen, because this is the energy that they're actually showing up in. You know, it's kind of like disgusting, really. And they're doing this to an earthly angel, someone who's a role model. Like, come on now, do better, get it together. And they generally like to snitch and say information to people that is unnecessary and unwarranted. And Archangel Michael, honestly, is not having that. The angels are wiping people's minds. They're wiping things clear. They're not letting this energy kind of taint the chosen energy anymore. That's divine unrest is no longer happening for the chosen energy. Okay, this mature grown female, which I'm getting more as this mature energy, is the person who is actually like athletic. That's what I'm getting by the sports, athletic, and they're twinning with someone. So whatever insanity plea that is being issued or offered by this Capricorn or Aquarius energy is not going to be seen in the highest vibrational light. It's not going to be seen and accepted by anyone, because this energy just moves in a bad and bougie way. They live now, but they're living now in a way that kind of mirrors how people would move in a good way. Okay, they're physically fit, they're mature, they are balanced with the good and evil type of thing. They may be a parroter, but they work closely with Archangel Michael, honestly, maybe to increase their credit score. Maybe, you know, they are wealthy because they have good credit with Archangel Michael. That's okay. They have good credit with Archangel Michael, right? Because reciprocation is necessary in order to continue the bond. And this chosen energy is doing that by offering this garage backdoor energy. What does that mean? By giving offerings to the ancestors. What's normally in your garage or backdoor? Stuff that's outdated, heirlooms, all the stuff that's attached to energies that are outdated or have passed on or no longer current. Okay, but they're paying homage to this. Maybe they're cleaning it out, maybe they're offering a flow, maybe the high vibrational beings, as we said, they're speaking to them and energetically assisting them in their endeavors, even if that means other soul family that is connected to those ancestors and offering things to them for them. And it's just like this energy is just so upright for this Capricorn Aquarius energy to attack it in such a way, to want this hard fall to be like thrown at this earthly angel. Archangel Michael's not having it. No, not at all. And this insanity plea, cancel culture, hell no. And Memorial Day or around Memorial Day, you're going to see the signs and synchronicities via like dyslexia. You know, that's going to let you know what the verdict really is in regards to this hearing in court. Okay, and on that note, I'm really going to end this reading and see us soon. Until the next.